Welcome to our daily podcast. And as usual, we are on the topic sin and its effects, the case of curses. From the fall of some angels to the fall of man, there is something that has been very common to the world, and that is called sin. And sin gave birth to curses. Every act of sin attracts a kind of curse in an individual's life. The world has been in constant darkness, and the reason for this darkness is sin, which results in curses. Most people are cursed, yet it is as a result of sin in their lives or the lives of some people in their family. When we do good, we attract blessings, and when we do bad, we attract curses. Remember, in the book of Genesis, God started by cursing the snake Adam and Eve. The snake Adam and Eve for their gross disobedience. We already know the story, so there's no need delving much into it. The world is cursed, and the result of the curse is decadence, backwardness, retrogression, and so on and so on. The reason for all of these evil adjectives and problems is just a common thing, and that is the simple act of disobedience and lawlessness. When man fell in the garden, nature and other creations of God fell as well. Sin has caused a great fall and a regressive movement of things in this universe. The systems and the economies of this present world isn't working well at all. It has nothing to talk home about. We now know that one of the results of sin is curse. And curses of every sort. Genesis chapter 3 verses 17 to 18. This is when God was cursing Adam, Eve, and the snake. So God turned to Adam and he said, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. Note, God never cursed Adam, but he cursed the ground for the sake of Adam. To me, I think that curse affected Adam in some way. The ground is cursed, and so everything in the earth has been corrupted as a result of the curse. Thorns and weeds grow in farms and fields, and man must till the ground and weed the grass just to enjoy the fruits of the earth. The earth had so many treasures right on the surface of it, but today they are all hidden under the earth. Man must therefore toil to bring these valuables out of the ground. What are these valuables? Gold and other mineral resources, which were once given to us for building materials, has become very scarce and costly and very hard to get. The curse God placed on the earth turned things upside down. Everything began to work against us. In Deuteronomy chapter 11 verses 26, "See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse." After so many years, God told the children of Israel He has set before them blessings and curses, which is based on conditions. If they did good, they were to be blessed. And if they turned their face against God and did evil, His curses rained upon them. God simply gave them the power to choose between a curse and a blessing, between good and bad. You know, the rebellious nature of man will always drive them to choose curses instead of blessings. So, the children of Israel simply could not do good, so they went ahead to choose curses. In today's world, most people are all busily choosing curses rather than the blessings of God. We may claim we are blessed, yet curses are looming right in our eyes. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 33. "The curse of the land is upon the wicked, but He blesses the dwelling of the righteous." Now we know that the curses of the Lord just does not come to anyone at all, but to those who deserve it. And I suppose you know the kind of people who deserve curses. These are the wicked. The wicked deserve curses, and the good deserve blessings. So then, what are some of the curses associated with sin? What happens when we decide to choose a curse other than a blessing from the Lord? Number one, we attract sicknesses and diseases into our lives. These are curses associated with some kinds of sins. In fact, this is the first stage of death. Sickness is the first stage of death. You begin to see that everything in your life begin to malfunction because the individual is dying slowly unless there is a healing. Other than that, the death will surely happen. Secondly, poverty. Lack and want becomes the norm of the day when we disobey God and choose to accept a curse into our lives. Why should we disobey God? Is it that we do not know that disobedience against God brings about repercussions? We know, but we are simply adamant. And sometimes we feel like sin is pleasurable, but the way of holiness is hard to move upon or to walk upon. But that's not so. Anyone that chooses the way of sin will end up in abject poverty. Number 3, death and decay. Sin causes death. And that is true. Even in the Garden of Eden, God promised them that if they eat of the tree that they were not supposed to eat of, they surely will die. Yes. they died, but it was a spiritual death. And that is what leads to a physical death. So everyone dies because of sin. So sin causes death and decay. Number 4, setbacks. Retrogression in life is sure when we have curses in our life. Everything around us comes to a standstill. Nothing grows with us. Nothing. Everything becomes stunted. Number 5, disappointments. Disappointments is the norm of the day. When people will promise you heaven on earth, and they will give you hell because it is one of the results of sin. Sin brings about disappointments in our lives. We are disappointed day in and day out because of sin. In every situation, there is often a cause. Hence, most of these curses comes into our lives as a result of the following: disobedience. This is dishonoring of fathers and mothers and people in authority. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 1 to 3. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth." When you disobey your parents, both biological and spiritual parents, you are attracting a curse upon your life. This kind of curse you attract to your life is stagnation and death. Number 2, self-inflicted curses. These are curses that are often gotten by our deeds. These deeds are our actions and inactions. Proverbs chapter 18 verse 20 to 21. From the fruits of their mouth, a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips, they are satisfied. The tongue has power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Well, the mouth you use to speak negatively upon yourself will definitely yield results, and the result of it is death as well. Everything around you begin to die when you speak death or you speak negatively. Many are in want and lack today because of the words they spoke against their own lives many years ago. My candid advice is we should stop speaking death and lack and start speaking life into our lives and the lives of our children and family. Number 3, idol worship. Idol worship is one of the things that God detests so much. That is what makes God so jealous. Deuteronomy chapter 27 verse 15. It says, "Cursed is anyone who makes an idol. It is a thing detestable to the Lord, the work of skilled hands, and sets it up in secret." Then all the people say, Amen. Idolatry is a severe cause of setbacks and generational curses in our lives, especially in Africa and the Middle East, where almost all our ancestors were idol worshippers. I think Asia is part of this. In fact, the entire continent. But in majority, I think Africa and Asia, Middle East, they will top the charts of idol worship. Families and individuals are suffering poverty and other curses today due to the acts of worship of idols in their families from generations before they were born. These demons capitalized on the contract and covenants they had with their forefathers to afflict and oppress people today. Therefore, desist from all forms of idol worship. Remember, anything that takes the place of God in your life is an idol. Most people make money their idol. They make money and work their God. Instead of serving God, they rather serve money and their work. Number 4, grumbling or murmuring. The Bible refers to faithless complaining as grumblings. God has warned us against that. In Numbers chapter 14 verses 26 to 30, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "How long will this wicked community grumble against me? I have heard the complaints of these grumbling Israelites. So tell them, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. In this wilderness, your bodies will fall. Every one of you 20 years old or more who was counted in the census and who has grumbled against me, not one of you will enter the land I swore with uplifted hand to make your home, except Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. Do you want to enter the rest and the promised land of God? Then stop your bitter complaints. Stop the grumblings. These are actually acts of disloyalty to God. I will pause here and continue in the next episode. God bless you. Bye-bye. Have a blessed Sunday and see you in the next episode. I love you. Ciao.